Happy New Year again, everybody. I don't know if you watched the first video, so I'm wishing you a Happy New Year again. Lighting, still bad. Although it is getting a little bit better, but still bad. This is video number 2 of the fanfiction, The Secret Admirer, so there will be story spoilers. If you haven't read the story yet, you can do that by clicking the link to the story either on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own, whichever one you prefer. It is the same story on both, so it doesn't really matter which one you read it on. It's just sort of however you prefer to read it, whether it's on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own. It is on both. And the link to the story is in the description down below. So, yeah, if you haven't read it, go read it. Or you continue watching and you be spoiled. I did warn you. There was going to be spoilers. So, now we're going to move into the spoiler type territory. So, this is your final warning. So, I wanted to do, like, a New Year's themed fanfiction because, well, it's New Year's. So, I figured, why not do a New Year's themed fanfiction? I really wanted to do a Once Upon a Time one because I really, really do love doing Once Upon a Time fanfictions. Can't really tell based off of all the fanfictions that I have, but, I really do love it because these stories are... like, the story potentials are insane. There's so many potentials. Haven't tapped into those yet. Writer's block, not fun. But another reason why I wanted to do a Once Upon a Time fanfiction was because I wanted to give Red and Dorothy their happy ending. Because in my last Once Upon a Time fanfiction, Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest, things didn't fare so well for them. And there was really no reason for it. So I figured, you know what? I do love Red and Dorothy. Like, I am a multi-shipper, so I do ship characters with several different people. More so Red than Dorothy because, well, Red has actually had scenes with other people. Dorothy really only had scenes with Red and Mulan. But regardless, multi-shipper, so I do ship multiple characters with multiple different people. And I just had to give Red and Dorothy their happy ending because I really do hate myself for what I did to them in the last one. But, yeah, so I figured, why not make them the couple in a New Year's themed fanfiction? Makes sense. So basically, I had found this prompt online, which basically, I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was basically like you receive a note from a friend of a friend at a New Year's party from your secret admirer wanting a kiss at midnight, and basically how do you proceed to make that happen? So I figured, well, that's fun. Let's work with that. So, yeah, that's sort of how the idea came to be anyways, from story prompts. They do help, guys. They do. Now, why I chose to set it in season 2 is mainly because I thought it would be fun to explore the town's, like, first New Year's party. Because time didn't really start moving until Emma showed up, and nobody got their memories till the end of season 1. Spoiler alert for the show. So I figured, why not? Season 2. Let's do this. And ultimately, that worked on some level, but it did pose a problem because Dorothy isn't in season 2. Nor does she ever arrive in Storybrooke. So I just made it that she did. She was there in season 2. She was in Storybrooke. Because, you know, it's a fan fiction and I can do whatever I want. Yeah. Now, in the prompt, I said that it was like you receive a note. but I changed it in the story to a text, and the reason for that is, like, it's like if Red had received a note from somebody, it would not have been that hard to sort of figure out, like, who they got the note from and sort of trace it back. So I figured an anonymous text. Technology's weird in Storybrooke. Unclear whether they all have cell phones. I don't think they do, but in this story they do. And Red does not have Dorothy's number. Yet. Yeah. So, I mean, changing it from a note to a text was purely just, if Red had received this note, it would not have been that hard to trace it back. Also, I thought about having the note slipped under Red's, like, bedroom door type thing. But then it was like, okay, well, she would either have to not be there, because if she was there, then she would see the note slide under the door and then open the door and find Dorothy there dropping the note off. So, text message was the way to go. Now, the middle of the story was a real challenge, particularly finding potential secret admirers. Finding single people in Storybrooke is like looking for a needle in a haystack, especially in season 2. I really did not enjoy that. I really didn't enjoy writing, the parts where Red and Emma are going to, the single people and trying to figure out, are you the secret admirer? Because I was like, okay, how are they going to do this? How is this going to happen? How is this going to work? So, it's not great, but it's there. Also, who does Pinocchio have his eyes on? I thought about making it Emma, because who else would it be? But I figured, you know what? Let's leave it ominous. Let's leave it nobody. So it could be reader's choice. Whoever you want Pinocchio to have his eyes on is who he has his eyes on. Yeah. Now, in terms of, like, how Red was going to find out that Dorothy was the one that was her secret admirer, I really didn't know how that was going to happen, honestly. I thought about having Dorothy just sort of, like, walk into Granny's while they're all celebrating, and, like, Red to be like, maybe. And to be fair, that probably could have been the way to go. Probably should have been the way to go. But it's not the way it went. I figured, why not put Archie into the story? Like, because Archie is, like, sort of barely a character throughout the show, too. And, I mean, he's a therapist type thing in Storybrooke. So, like, it's sort of like, oh, Dorothy went to him and confided in him about her feelings for Red, and he's, like, helping Dorothy plan this whole mastermind situation to get Red and Dorothy together at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. It was a random plot, but I don't know, I just thought it would be fun to do that way. Ultimately, like, the story was a challenge to write because of sort of all, like, the middle of the story. Like, I knew sort of how I wanted it to start and how I wanted it to end. But the middle did not come easy at all. So, yeah. It was a challenge, but I wanted to do a Once Upon a Time fanfiction. I wanted to do a Ruby Slippers fanfiction. I wanted to do a New Year's fanfiction, and all the pieces just sort of fell into place for ultimately the story to happen. But that middle was not fun. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the story, either in the comments of this video or as a review on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own. You could also do both. You can leave a review on the story. You can leave comments in this video. I don't know, but let me know what you thought of the story. Let me know if you want me to do more Red and Dorothy fanfics, because, well, I mean, I still have writer's block, but if I ever clear this writer's block, I would love to write more Red and Dorothy fanfics. But let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. And also, let me know if you've ever had a secret admirer. And if you found out who they were, how did you find out? Because I'm really curious. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more fanfiction content.